back to Mini Cooks, and today we are going to be making cake pops. And the cake we're going to be using today is this cake. It's just a confetti cake or a funfetti cake. That's what it looks like. So the first direction on here is just to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to do my low oven. I'm sorry if you guys can't see this. My thing is electronic. So if you can just preheat 350, and now I'm going to start. Now, in the meantime, while it's preheating, let us get into making the cake. Okay, so we're going to add 1 package of this cake mix. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me just cut this open. So let me just cut it open. And then we're going to pour it in. Okay, now that the cake mix is on, we're going to need a half cup of vegetable oil. And we're also going to need 1 1/4 cup of water. Okay, that should be good. And now we're going to give it a stir. Oh, sorry, and I also forgot. We're going to add 4 egg whites. So we need to put that in. And now we're going to give this a giant big stir. So, oh, and we're using egg whites because this is a white cake, because normally you use the whole egg thing. So, just mix this. It smells good, it looks good, and it probably will taste good. So, oh, and the cake that we got is from Great Value. This is the Walmart brand. It was like 89 cents. So, and the cake is really good. So, if you hear spraying in the background, that's just because we're getting a pan ready to put this cake on. So once this is mixed like this, okay, so now we're going to pour our cake into our pan. So I just put cooking spray on this. So, and we don't need parchment paper or anything. So now let's just pour this. Let me just move this into the view here. Alright, just going to pour all of this cake into our pan. And we're going to use our spatula to scrape the sides of this bowl. Let's see how much is left. Okay, there's a lot left. So just gonna use this spatula and remember the last when you're making the cake, make sure to wash your hands after you crack the eggs, because you can't eat that. And wash your hands before you even start the whole thing. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. Alright, so now that all the sides are scraped, I'll just get in the last bits. This is what our cake looks like. Okay, so right before we put this in the oven, we're going to have to go like this 3 times, and you can have a towel under it. And we do this because you want your cake to be even. So now we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. And we're going to give it 1 more minute because it's still preheating. Alright, our oven is 350 degrees. I already put the cake in there. I know that it's not focusing right now. And so this is going to bake for 34 to 38 minutes. These are the sizes. Just say on a box cake what you're going to do. So if you're using each in like different ones. So we're using this one. So it's going to be 34 to 38 minutes. So we'll start with 34, and just take your time and pause the video here, because you're gonna need to wait like 30 minutes. So we'll see you guys when our cake is going to be popped out of the oven. We just took our cake out of the oven, and this is what it looks like. And so we're just going to let this cool down for 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll see you when this cake is finished cooling. Hey, so our cake has gone out of the oven a couple minutes ago, actually 10 or 15 minutes ago, and we just let it cool in the pan that it was already in. So then we took it when it was completely cool, we just put a knife around the edge, and we flipped it over onto this drying rack, which is over a pan. So if you're wondering why we got this icing, the funfetti stuff, we're going to put on top, but because this is a regular vanilla icing if you don't mix this, so we're going to use 1 tablespoon of that in a second to crumble the cake for cake pops. And before we do that, we're going to take the caramelization off, which is the very top brown part right here, and that's what we're going to do. So we'll show you how. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take the caramelization off the cake. You're going to take a knife and carefully cut the brown part off the cake. And for this cake, this should be a really thin layer. And as you can see, after she cut it, it's not brown anymore. So we're going to take all of this off, and we'll see you when we're finished. Now our cake has no more caramelization on it, so now we're going to crumble it into little pieces. So we're going to keep crumbling the cake, and then when we're done, we're going to add
some frosting. So put 1 tablespoon only, otherwise your cake won't come out well.
Yeah, and then we're going to add it when our cake is finished crumbling, so we'll show you guys.
We are almost done crumbling our cake, and this is the last thing we need. Now that our cake is crumbled, so now we have to put 1 tablespoon of frosting and 1 tablespoon only, because if not, the cake will come out of your cake pops.
Actually, the cake will open.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to add that to our crumbled cake, and that's perfect. 1 tablespoon. So we're just going to use a spatula to put it all in.
Now that we put our 1 tablespoon of icing, we are going to mix that up.
And you can just use your hands to mix it. You have to use your hands to mix it.
This should be the consistency of your cake right now. It should be mixed in with the icing. Now we are going to take our cookie scooper and scoop a bowl. Then I'm going to put it in my hand and then roll till it makes a circle.
And then we're going to place it on a tray with parchment paper. And then, so basically, you're going to do all of this cake mix mixed with the icing, and then you're going to put it in the freezer for 10 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to, now we are going to make, what am I saying? Now we have made our cake in 2 balls. So, and so as you guys can see, actually I don't have the bowl anymore, but it is empty. So now we're going to put these in the freezer for 10 minutes, and then after that you're going to need either chocolate chips or candy melt, whatever. And we're using these because it was part of our funfetti icing, so we're going to put those on top after you do it. So guys, white chocolate chips work, or any type of chocolate that melts in the microwave will work. So we'll see you guys when we pop these out of the freezer. add our chocolate chips or your candy melt. So we're gonna pour some chocolate chips in a bowl right here. Should be good. And now we're gonna put this in the microwave, and it's very important that you only do 30 seconds at a time. So we're gonna start with 30 seconds. Don't put 1 minute straight, or you're gonna burn the chocolate. So I'm just gonna put this in, and we're just gonna add 30 seconds. Okay, so now these are chocolate chips for 30 seconds. So we're gonna put it in more, as you guys can see they're not melted. Just give it a stir, we already did. And then after you stir it, you're gonna put it in for 30 more seconds. And remember, it's 30 seconds. Remember, it's 30 seconds at a time, and not longer than that. So, yeah. See that they're melting just like this. Even if they're still whole, like we forgot to record when we were popping them out of the microwave. But if you stir it around, look, see, it's pretty much melted. But now, all we need to do is put it for 15 more seconds, and that's it. So this should be the perfect consistency of the chocolate. We just put it in for 15 more seconds, and that's the perfect consistency. Now we're going to use this to do our cake pops, and you have to do this quickly or your chocolate's going to get harder again. So we're just giving this a little bit more of a stir, and then we're going to take it and cover it with chocolate on a fork, just like this, and move it around in the chocolate. Now our cake pops have finished. We just covered them in chocolate, and they do tend to be a bit messy, just what we're using, because some people have the tools to do it, and this time we didn't have the tools, so we just used a spoon and did it. But they look pretty good, and then we're just gonna put these in the fridge for 10 minutes, or you can just leave it out and wait till the chocolate hardens, and then safe to eat, and you can eat it. Enjoy. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Please stop jumping. Okay. I don't know how to do anything. I'm talking anything all the time. Oh.